It's time for the sharpest minds in the beauty industry to come together from around the world to share their brilliance, knowledge and know-how to help you grow personally and professionally. These are the industry disruptors, the trendsetters, the leaders that think differently and change the standards forever. This is Lessons with Legends with your host, Jason Everett.
Man, what's going on, everybody? It is Jason Everett, and it is so good to see you. Thanks for being on with me today, hanging out with us on Lessons with Legends. If this is your very first Lessons with Legends show, would you do me a favor and say first timer? And if you've been around before, do me a favor and say been around the block in the comments section, because this is the show where I get together with some of the people that I've had the privilege to interact with from all over the globe through my journey in kind of the hair and beauty industry, and where I get a chance to interview some people that I think are doing some incredible things that have impacted the industry, and they are just doing some incredible things to make your life better as a salon owner, as a stylist, as somebody who's just trying to improve themselves. That's what this show is all about, and so I'm really excited to bring on my guest today. This guy, I have to say, we were just kind of joking about this right before the show started, is that I met this guy, we were literally, this is a fun way to intro somebody, but we were shooting a horror movie in Vegas, one of the first times that we hung out. And if that's any indication of like how fun this dude is, I think you guys are in for a treat today. But most of you guys may know Johnny. If you don't know Johnny Stellato, you probably should. He has been a facilitator inside the L'Oreal world for years and years. He's been in the hair business since '76, and now what he does for people is he helps them to understand what they are capable of doing, who they should be, and helps people get connected with where they need to be in order to get where they want to go. And I'm not going to say too much more about Johnny. I'm just going to let this video introduce him, and then we're going to bring him on the show. He's waiting in the wings to hang out with you guys. If you love Johnny, do me a favor and say love Johnny. And if you don't know Johnny, do me a favor and comment, I want to love Johnny. We'll get this thing on the road. All right, so here's this intro for Johnny, then we'll bring him on the show. Here we go, guys. Check this out.
Hi, my name is John Stellato. I'm a personal development coach. I work with leadership teams, and what we do is lead and empower their team to whatever elements they're looking to achieve. So I started way back in 1976. It's just about 41 years as a hairdresser, and it's amazing because sometimes the universe puts in front of you what you need, not what you want. And who knew? After all these years, I stopped doing hair, and all I do now is just motivate people, inspire people to really dig deep about their personal development, to be the strongest person they can be. So there isn't anything that you can't do. You have to believe in yourself, and I guarantee you, doors will open left and right if you serve with pure intention to help others, and your dreams will come true.
Gentlemen, please welcome John Stellato. What up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, Jason, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. I love your Hawaiian tan. You look amazing.
Yeah. It's more sunburn and extra freckles than it is tan, but I'll take it. I'll take it, man. Dude, where are you today in the world? Just so everybody knows, where are you at today?
I'm calling in from my home office here in Florida.
Awesome.
And first of all, before we actually get into it, I just wanted to say thank you, my friend, for the opportunity.
Of course.
I mean, when you asked me to do this, I'd like. Are you sure you're calling the right guy here? You know what I mean? So thank you for that. And also, I want to also give a lot of thanks. Keely, most importantly, is to Christine Schuster for many, many years having my back. Leslie Marino, everybody that I've worked with and trained with that I learned so much from. If I was in your class, or if we co-facilitated together, allow me to be who I am today. So From the bottom of my heart, man, thank you, Jason, and everybody else out there. Love you.
Yeah, of course. And hopefully Christine and Leslie will tune in for a minute and give you a shout out. But great people to work with. And you know, Johnny, dude, you just have had so much of an impact. And I have to say, as we were prepping for the show and like telling people that you were going to be on, the number of people that were like, oh my God, I love Johnny. He's the best. He's been in our salon. Like it's been overwhelming. I literally got Sonia on right now. I got Paul Grenauer. He said, dude, love you, Johnny. Like the word love comes up out of more people's mouth when I talked about you than any other guest I've ever had on. It's like, I love John. And dude, I know you're the most humble dude on earth. Like, I always feel like when I give you a compliment, it's just like it overwhelms you and floods you in the greatest way every time it comes up. And, for those of you guys that don't know Johnny very well, and I'd love to know you better than I do. We know each other pretty well. He's a humble dude. He has an amazing heart. And I think you truly speak from your heart every moment I've ever talked with you. And I think that's one of the best qualities that anybody could desire to have, right? I think that's just what we all look for. Yeah?
Yeah, exactly. We have a special guest on the phone as well, and this guest goes through a lot of pain sometimes, and they go through a lot of joy sometimes as well.
Yeah.
They have hopes and they have dreams and they have fears. There's sadness in their lives, and they feel angry once in a while, or they're hurt, or maybe even abused or confused. Mm-hmm. They fight for fairness. They have family that they love and a family that loves them. And those are you out there, my friends. We, Jason and Johnny, are just like you. And we're all in the same vein of life. And we're here just to share a way to help us be empowered to be truly who we are meant to be on this planet.
Totally. Well said, man. And, for all of you guys that are watching, I just got a quick message up here from Wendy Allen. Said, love you, Johnny. Greetings from Nicaragua. Dude, you got fans. You got fans in all the right places is all I'm saying. You can't go anywhere without finding a Johnny fan, I think. We'll have to see. Maybe there's some little country, some little area of Mongolia where you haven't penetrated yet, man. But we'll make that happen. We're going to get it out there. So, Johnny, dude, I recently saw you. We were both speaking out at Symposium, which is a Redken Symposium inside L'Oreal. And you were doing some work out there. And you had a really incredible piece that you did on breaking barriers. Now, yeah. What made you want to do this piece on breaking barriers? And hopefully we can kind of extract some of those golden nuggets from that piece, as well as I think some others from you today. But why is breaking barriers such a big deal for you?
Yeah, thank you, Jason. Why breaking barriers is so important to me is, we all have our way of doing things, especially in the hair industry. We have such beautiful skills in doing hair color and design and finishing with all the amazing artists that we work with throughout the L'Oreal brand. Mm-hmm. And, the idea of what gets in between our next step of greatness is just 6 inches from left to right ear. It's in the head. And on all the barriers that we put in our own mindset, which is not even true. It's like amazing. 83% of the human race just gets stuck on their thoughts and feelings, and it becomes their story. And once we break through some of these barriers, now your true essence, you're at peace, you're centered, and now it's time to do the beautiful hair that you could do. The moment we get ourselves out of the way, now you're present.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's the jam, right? It's like so often people get consumed in their own head, right? Like I've heard this before. I don't know if I heard it from Blair first or who, and I know Blair Singer always deserves a good shout out on these things too, because I know he's been an impact in your life, huge impact in my life, and I think it's his phrase. I don't know if he got it somewhere else, but he always says, if you get in your head, you're dead, right? Yeah. It's like if you're up there and you're thinking about yourself, you're not thinking about others, you're done, when you're facilitating. I think you've got a really uncanny ability to be present with the people that are there. And Johnny, whether you're being present with somebody on stage, you're present with them in the chair, what ability does presence give you? I know presence has its own ability, but when you're present with somebody, what changes? What opens up? What turns on? What makes that experience different than somebody who's just kind of doing hair or working in the salon or just talking to somebody else? What's the difference?
Yeah, for me, what the difference is being completely present is listening, not only what they're saying, but also what they're not saying. Mm-hmm. When we spoke a little bit earlier about the symposium class, there was this one lady who was having some issues and didn't even see her rushing the stage. And she was really, truly blaming herself on the pain that we talked about earlier on our call today, the pain that she's going through, the struggles, not being good enough as a mom. And this is when the whole room becomes like one, because she spoke not only on her pain, but the pain in that room. And what a shift. And it's amazing. That's where trust comes in. When you make yourself so vulnerable and to be authentic enough to care. truly listening and caring, all of a sudden the room of 500 people became like one member of a family.
Yeah, it did. It did, and I think for those of you guys that weren't there, I think it was really powerful. Is like you were doing an exercise, right? You were just wrapping up this exercise, and and everybody's having this like deep, profound moment of feeling very expressed with who they are, what they're connected to, and to your point about this barrier this woman had, like what I'm trying to help explain, like what this was like without having to be there, right? And so you just finished up this exercise. Everybody's had this amazing breakthrough. You're talking about how you should love yourself. And this woman rushes the stage and talk me through a little about what happened on that moment, because I think it's really good to talk about this.
Yeah, well, at that point, I was taking a question from the stage left, and like I said, I didn't even see her, and right. It was about celebrating self. That was our segment, about loving yourself and celebrating self. And she was just bawling out that she doesn't celebrate herself and just constantly beating herself up. Think about it, all of us, yourself, me, and everybody, all our friends who are on this call right now. How many times do we beat ourselves up on all the things that we could do better? But how many times do we actually stop for a second and celebrate the things that you are doing well? And we become our worst enemy, and at that point, all we had to do is I just asked her to just take in the love from the room, because she's not broken. There are billions and billions of people on this planet, and there's only one Jason, and there's only one of you, and there's only one of Johnny, and you're made to be special in who you are. Once we truly believe this, once we get ourselves, as Blair said it, when you're thinking in your head you're dead, or you get yourself out of your own way, now you're present. So many times people say, Johnny, how do I find peace? How do I get in a peaceful mindset? And I always say to them, the moment you stop looking for peace, that's when you be peaceful.
Right. Yeah. It's this quest. By the way, if you've ever been in your own head, would you do me a favor and say head in the comment section? I want to know if you've ever got tripped up on your own and tripped yourself up. I think it's really important for us to all kind of chime in on that. And I think you said it, Johnny, is that idea that like when you stop searching for peace, you become peaceful. That was really good. And I just read I've read all these studies lately and heard all these reports that people are like in this crazy American dream quest for happiness. You become more unhappy because of what you do and don't have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're just so busy to find our reward. When something is not going well, I get that gallon of ice cream at night and I eat the whole gallon. Or I go out and I go do some shopping because I'm missing something, and you're looking for a reward because you're beating yourself up so much. Your reward is look in the mirror and say, you're the man, you're the young lady, you're the woman who can do this. That's the reward. You are the reward. You're the gift.
Yeah, exactly, right? Is it like all of a sudden, more and more people play it out, and I think it's like that. I've heard that idea that like the more simple your life is, the more grateful people tend to feel, right? And so in the U.S. specifically, we're talking about Nicaragua for crying out loud. Wendy who's on here, like life is very different in Nicaragua than it is in Florida or California or in the United States, right? And there's a lot of things that overcomplicate our lives and get into it and do this. So, Johnny, I guess, dude, I love your attitude and I love your energy towards this. What made you want to kind of go down this path? Because you were doing hair, you're involved in all these things. You're part of Red King. You're like, you know what? I'm not going to do hair anymore. I'm just going to work on people, just get up here in their head and help make them better. How did you decide that this was the area you wanted to go in and really work with people at a deeper level like this?
Yeah, thank you for that, Jason. And, this triggers way back, in my personal life and also my professional life. In my personal life, like we all, like I mentioned earlier, our special guest on our call, meaning all of us, we've had pain. We've had pain in our life, and the pain that I went through growing up, not being born in this country and speaking a different language and quite frankly, not wanting to be a hairdresser. I was meant to pitch for the New York Yankees, and then when I tried out for the Yankees and I didn't make the team.
Did you try out for the Yankees?
Yeah, I did.
Dude, come on. Okay, so wait a second. Because you just glossed over some story here. First of all, you said you were not born in this country, correct?
Yeah.
So where were you born? Let's go back. Where were you born?
Yeah, I was born out of this country, only speaking Italian, and to coming to the U.S. only speaking Italian,
It's a big
and
deal.
being in the first grade and being made fun of and being different.
Yeah.
And this is our special guest we were talking about earlier. Myself, you, and everybody on the call today. We've all been down this road, and then rippling forward fast into the teenage years, knowing the only thing that got me out of my head was two things: music, I'm a drummer, and sports, I'm a pitcher and a quarterback in football.
Yeah.
And that saved me to make a connection. So what is it? Whatever your passion is, whatever that you want to drive to, lean forward, go for it. Don't play the what if game when you're 95 years old, sitting in your rocking chair, and look back in life and say, gee, what if? It's too late at that point. You're all so young right now. If there's something you want, go for it. The worst thing that could happen is you'll be exactly where you are right now.
Yeah.
And it's not too bad where you are right now.
It's not
pretty
bad.
good from here.
Yeah, let's remember 5 years ago that when you asked for what you have right now, right?
That's
and
right.
You got it delivered. So
Be careful what you ask for. The universe gives you exactly what you want, not what you need, right? At just that right time.
yeah. So okay, so you go from this immigrant kid getting made fun of in first grade for accent, for all this stuff, right? I mean, now that's you. I mean, that's just who you are. Like, you own it. But like in first grade, being different is such a bad thing, right? Like being different, not being like everybody else, it can just really weigh you out. But like, how does that play out, for you? And by the way, if any of you guys have ever been made fun of, at least once in your life, because I'll like double fat hand raise on that one, right? Like just anything that, you've experienced that's shaped you can come from something like that. So what was it about that piece of like, finding the music, finding, sports, finding something that you were good at? What kind of called you to this personal development side then?
Yeah, because what happens there was a sense of belonging. When you belong to something, to a certain tribe, if you will, either music or sports, now you have a sense of belonging because that's
because you're part of the team now, right?
You're part of a team.
Yeah.
And then from there, leadership skills were molding. I had no clue where the universe was going to take me through the years.
Totally.
And it was building, it was preparing Johnny to be where I am today. Where the shift happened for me professionally, I was a hairdresser. My beautiful wife, Valerie, and I owned a salon for 10 years. And then when I had the beautiful opportunity to come work for Redken L'Oreal many years ago, I was given this beautiful gift to be a director for international training, launching Redken outside the U.S. for 5 years. And that's when the trigger went off, seeing different types of personalities, different mindsets, different cultures all around the world. And I always said to myself, what makes it people think the way they think? And why do some people strive to be so hard and strong and some people give up before they get started?
Yeah.
It was a dream that for these countries to open the brand, but they couldn't handle it. It was too much work. The teams were small. So I started learning and reading about the brain and how it operates, learning to read, understanding body language and what people are not saying verbally, but are saying with their body.
Right, because you had language barriers, you had all these things. So, okay, so let me just get this straight. So you are traveling around with Redken, helping open up these countries. And they've wanted it like nobody's business, but you get there and it's too much. Like, it's just like, it's a lot to handle. So now you're having to read body signals. Am I catching this right? So you're having to read body signals and you basically lose the ability to really communicate like you and I are right now.
Yeah.
And so it starts opening you up to this whole different understanding of people?
Yeah, what happens there, it's no longer Johnny the trainer coming in to speak about the brand, which is very important. You have to sell the brand, speak about the brand, but it's the human connection. It's the empathy. Once we put ourselves in their shoes, the empathy of what they're feeling right now and what's going on, you step away from the content of the information that needs to be had and speak person to person, make that connection. Once you have that human connection and you understand and they understand that you understand, now we get through that first hurdle, through that first barrier, if you will, and we slowly start working on some leadership skills. How do we move these pieces around? And with the guidance of everybody at L'Oreal and Redken, and I was the messenger to go out there and help this work, it just became an amazing shift in the mind. And I said, there's got to be something more to this. And what it basically is, we all come to this planet the same way. We come into this planet in the purest form. And unfortunately, we don't leave this planet that way. We allow others to stifle our true greatness inside us because of our damn voices, and we allowed it to happen. From this moment forward, my friends, have voice and say no more. You are perfect just the way you are. There's a reason why you're doing what you're doing. Have intention with the pure intention. I guarantee you, hey, if Johnny could do this, you can do this, because I had not even a word of English to speak of. And you have so much more, my friends. Don't ever discount your greatness.
Yeah, by the way, do me a favor. If you think that there's more in there and you think that you are enough, would you guys do me a favor and type in more? I think a big part of this, Johnny, and what I love when you speak to people is you speak to people at a level that, like, they don't leave on the outside. Does that make sense? Like, I think, how many times do people put on this mask of, like, everything's cool, my life's perfect, like, I'm okay, I got a car, I got a house, I got a thing, you know, and like, people kind of live in this space of, like, my life's pretty good because I got to show people, especially on social media, right? Like on Instagram and on Facebook and all this stuff, everybody is trying to kind of maintain this, like, my life is this level of awesome, right? And you talk to people like, but I know on the inside that you still feel like that kid who got made fun of. Like, you speak to people that way. And I think, you know, again, I got Winter Brown just commented on there. She's like, loving it. I'm telling you, the word love comes up more often than any other word when you talk to people, Johnny, because I guess, I don't know if it's just how you speak to people that way, or that, just that idea, or that people just don't feel enough love from other people. What do you think it is that creates people to say love back? Like, why do you think that's the word when people are referencing you, they use the most?
Because you're making a human connection. You know, when you're making a human connection, when you become your true self, you just make yourself completely vulnerable. You know, look, no one is any better than anybody else. No, me personally, I have no right to judge, because who am I to judge? Yeah. All I'm doing is going through in my story of the pain and the sadness and the hurt and the anger and all this stuff that I've been through. And I know that we all go through stuff like this, you know, and the moment you put yourself in their shoes, you know, when I go teach my events or my classes, my retreats, when you hear people speaking and just opening up, you put yourself in their shoes and you say, yeah, me too. And when you become real that way, that, you know, the only reason why we stand on those stages is not because you're any better, it's because they can see you. But you're just as the same plateau as anybody else. We're just people trying to connect to make this crazy world a better place. That's all we want to do here. And as leaders, as team members, as partners, as friends, whatever you want to call it, the idea is, what is your daily intention? Think about it this way: how to keep your head nice and quiet. What did I discover about myself yesterday? What's my intention today? And what will I work on for tomorrow? And if every day that goes by, it keeps things very calm and very clear. What did I discover about myself yesterday? Oh, I was a little crazy. I was short-tempered with my wife or my kids, whatever. Okay, good. What's your intention today? My intention is to grow my salon, to making sure our team is strong, making sure our guests are happy, and we do whatever it takes to have a 5-star experience. Good. So what are you going to work on tomorrow? Watching their back, because no one is perfect. And that's just like a little example.
Yeah, no, it's great.
And if you keep doing that every day, everything has purpose now.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. So purpose is an interesting word, Johnny. Like, I think that for a lot of people, purpose can be a huge motivator, and not having purpose can be a huge roadblock, right? Yeah. Is that idea that, you know, being confused or having this foggy purpose is like you're wandering around this pea soup fog of just garbage. Like, what have you found in the years that you've been doing this, right? Since 76, right? Since 76, right? Isn't that just fun to talk about? Anyway, but like since 76 of like figuring this out, how would you advise somebody who said, man, I don't know what my purpose is, Johnny. I'm doing these things every day because I can, because I feel like it makes some money and I'm decent at it. but I don't know that I know my purpose. What would you say to somebody like that? And by the way, I just want to say this. I'm asking Johnny questions, but if you guys want to ask Johnny questions, you can type in the chat right now, and you can ask Johnny questions live. If you're on hanging out with us, there is an advantage here. I'm just saying. So if you guys have questions for Johnny, type them in and I'll throw them out there. But Johnny, what would you say to somebody who's unclear about discovering their purpose, finding their purpose, or just being clear on it at all?
Yeah, good. So if there's a lot of chatter going on through your head and what is my purpose, my first suggestion is just to be still, and just be still. We talk about it, just be. A lot of times you talk about being present, and there's quite frankly, there's no way of truly being present because we have something called time. And I just said just being present a couple of seconds ago, and it keeps moving.
And now we're not present with that moment anymore.
Yeah, so the idea is being in a void of time when everything is still. So when everything is still and you're looking to find purpose, just be present in that void of time. And take a breath and say, what's my motivation to do on whatever I need to do right now? What's my motivation? Why am I motivated, or why am I not motivated to do this? If you're not motivated, don't do it, because you got to do it and you won't give it 100%. Look, in sports, you choose to get on that field, you put that uniform on, you better play 100% or don't get on the field. Mm-hmm. And if you're not motivated and you're going to get on that field and you don't know purpose, you're going to be running around in circles trying to find a goal, and you're going to get frustrated, and that's where chaos comes in. That's where burnout comes in. You could be doing this for 100 years. If you love what you're doing and you have purpose and you're motivated, you'll never have burnout because you are exactly where you need to be. If you don't know where you are or where am I going, just be. Just take a breath and then reflect on what's my intention right now. What's my intention today, and what's your call to action? What's your call to action about my intention? Because we could just sit here and talk all day long about all the dreams we have, but unless you do a call to action, that puts accountability on me, but I don't want accountability. Now I got to do something about it. Well, then get out of the game.
Yeah.
It's your game, whatever your game is. We have billions of people on this planet, and everybody's game is different. Play your game, not the game others want you to play.
Isn't that the truth, man? I think so many people are caught up trying to play other people's games, right? I think to your point, there's a lot of people who see somebody else, and I think that's, again, going back to social media, right, Johnny? Like, that's the deal, is you get caught up seeing other people's games, and you're like, why are they here? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? And it's like, you're there to play your game. You've talked about Just Be, which, by the way, can you talk about your Just Be bracelets for a second? Because you've talked about Just Being, and I want to talk about them. So, yeah. So, if you guys need a reminder of Just Being, I know, Johnny, you're rocking it. I need to get a Just Be bracelet. I don't have my Just Be. I don't have one, buddy. We need to get one. And if you want a bracelet, Johnny said he would be willing to give everybody a bracelet. If you do me a favor and comment with the word, let's just comment with the word be. B-E, comment with the word be, and we'll get some details from you. Johnny will get you a bracelet out. But I think you talked about it. It's like you're chaotic. You're, when you're somewhere else, you just got to take a pause, take that breath, and just be. And that's what the bracelet's there to do, right, is remind you to just be, yeah?
Yeah, on one side it says just be, the other side says empowered. And it's basically imprinted black on black. It's not to advertise where it comes from. It's just for self. It's a place for you, sometimes a little trigger. When you start losing your way, it's just a trigger. Hey, we got some buddies, they just tattoo their bodies up with this. We do trainings, and these kids come back the next day, and they got Just Be all over their bodies. Like, oh my God, this is like, are you kidding me? This is forever.
Well, it clearly connects, because literally, dude, we've had like 35 people hit the B button. They're like, B, 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 like every single person's like, I need this. So
it's coming your way, my friends.
Dude, that's it. Clearly it connects. And I think, why is it that you think, Johnny, that people have a problem with just being? Like, what's wrong, if there's a wrong? What's wrong with just being in their heads that makes people go, I got to be somebody else?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. Again, it's just it's the way the world is today. Like to your point, social media, we're just so busy being busy. Think about it, we're so busy running across this finish line to start the next race. Can you just pause for a second and say, hey, I just finished this race. I just finished this haircut. I just finished this amazing, beautiful hair color. I just sold another 3 products. Can you just pause and celebrate that?
Take a second, yeah.
Before you start the next race, and we're just like, go, 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 go. Can you catch your breath? Celebrate yourself, and it's just the world the way it is today. But the people in the world make the world, and it starts with us. Just slow things down. It's okay to slow down.
Yeah, I think, okay, can I just say thanks for saying that to me, because you know I need to hear that. Johnny's like, this one's just for you, Jason. It's okay to slow down. No, but it's true. I think that's why people love you so much, Johnny. Would you guys do me a favor? If you love Johnny, hit that heart button for me on the live, because I think, I want Johnny to know how much you guys love what he's saying and how you connect with him. But if you feel the love, do me a favor, hit that heart button. I think you just keep tapping it. I want Johnny to know that you guys are feeling it. And I think that's it, man. I think so many people, including myself, I'm just being really honest. Like, it's so hard to sit still. Like, when you say the word still, it gives me like a level of anxiety I can't even explain, I'm like, like, you mean not do a million things at once? Because we live in this million thing rundown, I think it kind of continues to create chaos for people, Johnny.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. There is a question up on the board for you, by the way. So if you want to say something, go ahead, and then I want to ask one of the questions that came in.
Yeah, no, please go to the question. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. By the way, people are mashing on that heart button. We'll see how many hearts we can get you. It's currently you're at almost 100. We're getting close here, so watch out. It's because, dude, I'm telling you, people love you, buddy. People love you. Johnny, why did you have me on this show? I don't know, because people freaking love you. Let's be clear. People want more Johnny. What can I say? The people have spoken. All right, so Johnny, Winter Brown, who's on the line, and Winter, I'm not sure where you're from, but I want to say what's up. Thanks for joining us and commenting. Winter says, Johnny, as a leader, how do you best coach experienced staff to find their purpose and to relight their fire? Because that Winter brings up a great question, right? Is you have these people who've been around for a long time, they get in their old habits, they're just doing their thing, and their fire is just not going the same anymore. How do you help owners deal with people like that? How would you help them?
Yeah, so again, it's about intention and thinking about what are their sources. Think about it as a leader, if you will, a salon owner. There's a task. Think about the task. You have a team, and then you have the individual. What is the task of the salon owner? As a salon owner, the big picture, what's our purpose in the salon? Is to grow our business with more guests. Who are the team? Everybody, including anybody, gets a paycheck in there. And now the individual. How do you motivate this person? How do you get them back in the game? And what happens is, that 63% of the workforce feel that not being held empowered to do what they're asked to do. 24% spread the negativity throughout the salon. And that leaves the final 13% of the salon. They dabble in the 63 and the 24% because they allow the outside influences affect them. So as a salon owner, when I start seeing somebody who's crashing and burning and they're not playing their game, I would never tell them what I see. I would definitely go into a coaching session on speaking in questions and leading them to the goal where you want them to see. If I don't see the target, I don't know where to hit it. So what is the owner, the young lady who just asked that question, what is the target? Is it that the stylist is not motivated, they've been around for a long time? If that's the target, how would you speak to this person for them to see the target? Because what happens, Jason, is if I tell you what you need to do, I become your dad, your big brother, and in their subconscious mind, all they hear is wah, 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 wah,
It's
wah.
peanuts, yeah.
Yeah, don't tell me because I shut down. But if you ask me and it comes out of my mouth what's missing, now you just empowered that young lady who's been around the world there for so many years. Now they said it. Now the accountability is on them. My salon owner friends out there, this is not your responsibility. Your responsibilities out there is to empower your team as a coach. See where the potholes are, get in there and fill in the potholes of what's needed right now. But they have to pour the concrete, not you, my friends.
Yeah, so this is the piece that I think people struggle with, is the languaging, right?
Yeah.
Is like, cause everybody knows how to tell you what to do, right? Like, and people always ask me all the time, and I don't know if you ever get this, Johnny. People call me up and they're like, Jason, can I work on your team? Cause I love telling people what to do. And I'm like, well, then you don't know what I do, cause I don't tell anybody what to do. You know, like, what is the languaging that you would use to, like, sit down? Cause you said, I wouldn't call them and be like, hey, I noticed you've been slacking off and you're a complete moron and you're not doing your job the way I need you to. You got to get your you-know-what together. Otherwise, you're off my team. You said don't do that. That's dad mode or mom mode, right? So what do you say? How do you ask somebody, like, cause you know, you're going to pull them aside. Let's go have a quick meeting. They're going to go, they're going to pucker their you-know-whats a little bit. They're going to go, and then you're going to go sit down with them. What would Johnny say? Let's role play this. So I'm
Okay.
Jason and I'm slacking off. Can we do that? I don't know why I felt like role playing. Let's role play it. So I'm slacking off. I've been doing my thing. I've been cutting hair for 20 years and like I know it all, right? And you want to pull me aside and you're going to say something to me. How does Johnny Stellato sit down and get somebody to reignite their fire and their purpose? What would you ask?
All right, great.
I know I threw you right in the fire. If that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's all good. You know, so you know, what I would do is start the conversation, making sure that you don't get to the root canal right away, because you think about it to your point. You know, Jason, Everett, to the principal's office, please, and everybody in the classroom goes, whoa.
Yeah, totally.
So what happens is, you know, hey, Jason, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for the amazing work that you're doing in our salon right now, because you're a superstar. So thank you for being Jason. You're amazing. Jason, I have a question for you. Remember, we spoke about this at our last salon meeting, that we are like a 5-star resort where our main focus is to serve our guests as best we can. Remember that conversation?
Totally. That was a good meeting.
Yeah, I know you're always listening, Jason. That's one thing I love about you.
Nice.
You're always in the game. So let's talk about our week. How's your week going this week so far for you?
Good, man. Normal week. Just, doing my thing,
Yeah, so what is normal for you, Jason? What is your thing?
Normal's getting my job done, making it happen, doing what I do best.
Okay, good. So what's one thing that you did best this week?
I really I served my clients. I did a couple really amazing cuts and colors this week, and just, I had some clients who were just really happy to come in and relax.
Good. Now think about it. All the clients that you did this week, did you feel that they all walked out praising the name of our salon and our company?
I don't know about that.
Okay. So think about it. Our 5-star resort. We're a 5-star salon. And if one of our guests walks out of our salon not feeling up to par, not feeling empowered, not feeling beautiful, was there one of your guests who went through something like that?
Well, I think they felt good. I just don't know they went out praising our salon necessarily, but they definitely had a good, I gave them a great experience. I just don't know if they walked out praising the salon.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for your honesty. I know this conversation is not easy. Now, let me just get to the point here, Jason.
Good stuff, by the way, buddy. Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, so at this point, what I would just say is, if you're not...
I got you. You're back. I came back.
Okay. At this point, what I would say is, if you're not quite sure that everyone went out phrasing this way before they leave, just making sure that you connect with that person. Social skills is one of the most key factors in emotional intelligence. There's 5 different keys. And if we could hit all keys of the emotional intelligence of the mindset, there is no way that this young lady who called in and saying that somebody's not motivated right now. So if we could connect at least with the social skills and self-awareness. Am I aware that I'm not playing the bigger game? If so, why not? And if not, how can I?
Yeah.
Self-awareness is the most key thing there. Self-control. How do I control my emotions? How do I take it, not personally, but I'm going to take it because I know Jason's got my back, the salon owner. Motivation. Why do I come to work? Why am I doing Jane's hair right now? What motivates me? Yeah, we all need money. If it's only money, You're never going to be happy enough because no matter how much money you make, you always want more. There's got to be more motivation than that. Empathy. Put your shoes in their shoes. And then social skills. So those are the 5 different spokes of emotional intelligence. If we could connect to all 5 at all times, life is amazing. If one of those spokes are loose, which one and why?
So give me those 5 again, Johnny, because I want to write them down. I want to make sure I get them. If somebody can type these in the chat too, that'd be super helpful. The last 2 you said were empathy and social skills. What were the first 3?
Yeah, so self-awareness.
Okay, you guys type it in for me. Self-awareness. I just want to make sure you got this. Self-awareness, number 1.
Yep. Self-control.
Self-control. This was good. I just want to make sure everybody's got it, myself included here. All right. And number 3?
Motivation.
Okay.
And number 4 is empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5, social skills or relations. Either or.
Got it. And yeah, Liz asked the question, what were the 5 again? So thanks, Liz, for asking that question as well. I definitely want to make sure it's there. And by the way, Joyce Lynn asked the question, what are the best questions to ask to get the answers that you're looking for? And I think you actually answered her question as it was happening here, right? Is it this idea that you got to start with self-awareness, which, by the way, I just want to take so out of the role play here, what I love that you just did, and hopefully you guys all picked up on this, is like he came in, complimented hard, gave me some good feedback, but then really, was genuine with it. I think a lot of times, Johnny, what happens is, and I've been in this mode before. I worked with this gal one time, and I couldn't think of one nice thing to say about her. I'm just being directly honest, right? I couldn't think of one nice thing, and somebody said, "Well, before you go in there, give them a compliment before you give them feedback." And I was like, I got nothing. Literally, I had to reach deep down in my soul and be like, "You show up on time sometimes." I was like, "What?" You know what I'm saying? You try and get that, but I think what you did that I thought was really good is you took me that self-awareness place first. You asked the question, and I can't remember exactly how you said it, but you said what did you do great this week? Or what did you asked some question about what do you feel that you did well with the guests that were in your chair this week? And you immediately made me self-aware. It was I had to really think about it. And when I knew you kind of got me, even in our role play, was when you asked me to did everybody leave the salon, 5-star experience? You kind of gave me that whole thing, and I was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
And you didn't say one thing about here's what I've noticed about your performance lately or any of that other stuff. It was just you brought me to that level of self-awareness first, calmly, pleasantly, professionally. And it's going back to Winter's question, right? How do you coach staff to find a purpose and reignite their fire? I love these 5 steps: self-awareness, self-control, motivation, empathy, and social skills, because it completely changes how you approach people.
Yeah. And unless you see greatness in front of you, don't coach. Don't have a conversation.
Oh, well said. That's a good point. So because what happens if you don't? What's going to happen?
Because your tone, your body language, even though you think you're helping, but the way your tone and the way you speak to them, they're going to feel you speaking down to them. And then you walk away saying, I tried everything. I tried coaching. They just don't hear me. Because you're seeing somebody you're not coaching them on their potential. You're coaching them on where they are right now. And where they are right now is not in a good place. This is the pain that we were through at one time. Remember, we all go through pain. Right now, this person, she or he might be going through pain. I don't know what goes on in your home, but I do know what's going to go on in our salon. This is a profession. This is not personal, and we need to make sure we embrace our guests. So unless you coach with intent of seeing greatness in the person that you're coaching, then don't coach. And then the question is, if you're seeing poison out there, might be a time to pause and look in the mirror and say, what is my poison right now? Sometimes people say stuff to me that hurts. And deep inside, I just say, thank you because now you're helping me to learn how to heal. And it's not easy to heal and see somebody who's in your face and you just want to strangle them because you're not understanding their mindset.
Their intention or their vision for you or whatever that is.
Everybody has their opinions. We all have the right for our opinion, and that's who we are as humans. And all you could take is, send your blessings out and just, you're teaching me how to heal through this as well.
Yeah.
And you got to move on. We can't allow other people's influence affect us. If it's a bad thing, there's positive and there's negative intentions. If there's negative intentions out there, we're adult enough today to step away from it. As a child, we didn't have choice. Right. But as adults, we do have choice.
Well said. Well said. And if this is connecting for you guys, do me a favor, hit the like button for Johnny. I want to make sure that you guys know, or I want to let Johnny know that he's connecting with you guys. I know he knows, but I want you to let him know by hitting the like button, hitting the heart button, and just really giving him some love. Johnny, dude, this is really good stuff. By the way, if you guys have questions for Johnny and you're just joining us and you haven't been on with us since the beginning, you can type your questions in for Johnny. He will answer them with you live. But I want to take a second, Johnny, because I know you would probably not normally do this, but I want to at least make sure that I mention it because I think it'd be so valuable for people that are on with us. Is that you do also offer coaching? You come into salons, you do training and things like that. So I just want to let you guys know that if you guys want to get a hold of Johnny, how powerful would it be to have somebody come into your salon and actually give this talk to your team so that they can start to see it instead of from you. From somebody like Johnny that literally lives, eats, breathes, and has this type of intention. And if you have Johnny in your salon, do me a favor and say Johnny's been here because I want to know. I know a lot of people in our academy, our High Performance Salon Academy, they've had you in, which is why clearly I wanted to have you on. They've all said Johnny's the best. If he ever comes in your salon, he's the greatest. He's the greatest. If you guys want to come in, how would people book you in their salon, Johnny? Because I know inside the L'Oreal world, there's a way to do that. Outside, I'd like to know too. But how would people bring you in?
Yeah, thank you, Jason. Mm-hmm. And in the inside, our L'Oreal family is just basically having conversations with their sales consultants and send out a request form. Comes my way, and it becomes just that easy. And then for the coaching, just connect with me on johnstellato@gmail.com, and it can be coaching. What's nice about that is it becomes relevant to your needs. It could be a one-on-one like we're doing right now, or it could be a whole group of people. And then we just go through a journey. There's different packages and all that great stuff. It could be a one-time call, or it could be, a journey that we have conversations with.
Awesome. So make sure somebody type that in. And you said it's johnstellato@gmail.com?
Yes.
johnstellato@gmail.com. Somebody type that in the chat for me because I want to make sure it's there. And if you guys have questions, do me a favor. Type them in. Liz said, highly recommend this. Johnny's been to our salon and we'll be back again next month. This is Liz Rose Evans Warman. I don't know where she's from, but you probably know her more than I do, Johnny. So, dude, she's excited. Who else has said that? Jennifer Malone said, Johnny's been here last week. He was amazing. You were just in their salon out there as well. Awesome. I love it. Amanda said, it's so powerful. We were all crying tears of joy. Come on, man. Dude, that's big time. Let's see. Courtney, dude, you've been everywhere. Courtney said, just had Johnny last weekend. How many places were you this last week? That's what I want to know.
Hey, I get around, big guy.
I guess so. Had Johnny last weekend. My life has changed so much in 1 week, personally and professionally. Thank you so much. Dude, I love how much you impact people, Johnny, and I think that's it. Joyce Lynn wants to know if you go to Connecticut. I'm pretty sure that's a yes.
Yeah, I got family there too.
Oh, there you go. He's got a place to be. And Winter, she's in T-Spot Appleton. Now with my homies in T-Spot Appleton with Fred and Joseph and the crew and Margaret over there. Tell them all I said, hey, Winter, thanks for asking your question. Dude, Johnny, clearly people really love what you do and what it's about. What advice would you give to somebody to say, how do you show more empathy? I can't remember who it was. It's back up in the comments up here, but Amanda, she said, sometimes I need to show more empathy. What in your mind is a great way to practice empathy?
Yeah. It doesn't need to come from a Johnny. It doesn't need to come from anybody but yourself. We're all born with that. Sometimes in my events, and we talk about empathy, and I ask the question, how many people feel you're not empathetic, and I don't have time for that, and things like this, If you think about it, if you truly care, you don't need a Johnny to tell you how to become more empathy. If you truly care, just pause for a second, listen, and stop thinking what you're going to say when they finish speaking, but just be present with that person and put yourself in their shoes. if you feel you don't have time to become empathetic with that person, my question is, why is that person in your life?
That's a good question.
You know, it's you know, when you truly care about people, you know, we have a choice, you know, and you say, well, I gave it all I had, you know, and that's okay. We could give it all we have, and if you can sleep lightly on your pillow that you gave it all you have, life is not perfect. There will be pain and it will be hurt, you know, but if you care enough, just pause. And we're so worried about being right and having the last word. Sometimes we just need to be quiet, not right, you know, and just put yourself in their shoes and say, you know what? I hear what you're saying. I may not agree, but I feel your pain. And I, too, have been through pain before. Let's see how we can make this work. And it's not easy. Look, we're all human. We all have our ego. And the reason why we have our ego, ego, edges our greatness out, and some say edges God out. And it becomes an enemy, an obstacle, or an enemy, an obstacle to put end to something. That's our ego. Why? It's because we've been hurt. We've been hurt in the past, and now it becomes our protection. So we have positive and negative ego. It's like the little cartoon, the angels and the devil, right? The angel ego is saying, Jason, you can do this. Go get him. That's a good ego. And then you got the negative ego and say, my intention is to screw Jason over, screw him, because he's a barrier in my way. He's not the barrier in your way. It's your own ego, Johnny, it's in your way. Dude. That's the problem. Yeah. It's not anybody out there. You're the barrier, meaning me.
So hold on, I want to take that, because that was a good, like, I love that you just slide these little nuggets in and just keep going. You're just like, you know, it's just this thing I do. What I heard you say that I really like, because I've heard before, you know, you're the one that's in the way. What I love about what you said is you get in these confrontations with people because you perceive the person is the barrier. But the barrier exists in you from some sort of past resistance or something that you've encountered, but you're perceiving that person to be the barrier when in reality it's you.
Yeah, they just happen to be the messenger of our subconscious mind. They're waking up a story from our past.
Oh, dude, that was so good. They are the messenger from your subconscious mind. Somebody put that on a T-shirt and send it to Johnny, for crying out loud. Dude, that's big time. That's big time. You know, Courtney said on here too, she said that's such an amazing way to say it. Yeah, thank you, Courtney, for weighing in on that. Yeah, I think it is really critical, Johnny. And as we're talking about this, I know your camera got a little sideways on me. Hopefully you're still there. You still there, buddy?
I hear you, but I don't see you. Hang on.
Okay, no, yeah. Jennifer just said mind blown. There's a mind blowing moment there, buddy. Yeah, I think you know, as we're talking about this, Johnny, I know you're getting your phone back up, so I'm gonna vamp for you in your drummer terms. How's that? Is that cool? I'm vamping for you, dog. But I think what's really fascinating for me about how you look at this and how you perceive it, Johnny, is you literally go into the conversation. I got you back. I don't know if you can see me, but I got you back for a second.
Oh.
But I think there we go. You broke the universe with that nugget bomb, that value nugget. You just broke the phone, the internet. You broke everything all at the same time. What I was gonna say is, dude, when you talk about things in terms of what you just said, that their comment to you is a subconscious. Did you say subconscious reflection? Or it's it's a subconscious reflection.
Yeah, what happens is it taps into our subconscious mind. You know, we have all this baggage in our mind that we keep stored in there. Something happened to me in the past, and then all of a sudden Jason says something to me, and it triggers my past story. Yeah. And there's that file cabinet that opens up, and there's a story when I was 10 years old, when everybody made fun of me, and you're becoming the barrier. Meanwhile, Jason's not the barrier. It's all the baggage I'm still carrying, and I'm taking it out on you.
Totally, man. Yeah, I just think it's just one of those things, right, that people get so caught up, they get so consumed, and again, they see the barrier outside of them, but really it's inside. I was remembering back when we were doing the SDS, the Symposium Development Sessions in New York, and I remember you getting on stage asking for like smoke and fog, and like you want to run through a total brick wall. And I was like, dude, there's these cardboard bricks you can buy, like you got to do it. And I think I love that idea of just realizing that like the barrier feels real.
Yeah.
Because it is. But it's not a physical barrier. And I think we quest to find things so physical in our lives that when you can't see something, you got to assign it value to something else. And you assign the value to a person because you can't physically see the barrier.
Yeah. It's like today, years ago, you could never talk about mental illness. You break an arm, you have a cast. Oh, what, you're okay? Yeah. You got hurt.
Yeah.
But when you don't see it, it's so difficult, so I always say this, it's been around me all my life. And if there's anybody out there who is looking for help, seek help, have voice, because it's a different world today. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We all need help day in and day out here, my friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said, Johnny. Dude, I have one question for you, and I don't, I hate to kind of give it to you in the last couple minutes, because I think sometimes it's a big question, but I also think sometimes for people like yourself that just live in your moment, or live in the moment, I should say, usually it's close. But what would you say, Johnny, for you personally, I hope people leave with something incredible on this, is in your mind, what do you believe that you were put on this earth to do? If you can answer such a big question in a short amount of time, what do you think you were put on this earth to do, brother?
Yeah, thank you for that. Sometimes we land up, we think we have a job and we have a career, and then somehow, some way, you feel you found your calling, and I think I truly did find my calling through all the adversity through life of not speaking the proper language, if you will, and not making those damn Yankees and being angry with them for the longest time.
They made a mistake. Come on, man.
But the intention was, there was a reason why that happened. I ended up doing hair. I met my wife, 41 years married, and she's my true love. Man. It's amazing. And so what it was meant to be is to make a difference. As long as there's air in my lungs and I have my facilities, my brain, is to make a difference. And being authentic enough, because going through pain that we all go through is just to be there and to make a difference and to help. Yeah. So to serve others, at the end of the day, we always think about it. If this was your final song, if this was your final dance, if this was your final breath, what would they say about you and what did you leave behind? And I just hope that we leave a little message for all that it's okay to be who you are. It's okay to be. And life is not perfect, but life is just right because you're in it.
Bro, Johnny, I have to say, as you spoke today and as you talked, I hope that people got it. I think they did, because you speak true, straight to people's hearts. And if you guys felt it, do me a favor and say heart in the comment section, and then hit that heart button, because I want Johnny to know too that you really felt it and got connected. Johnny, it's clear that, not only does everybody love you who interacts with you, but dude, every time I've hung out with you, it's been fun. I've laughed a lot, and I just know that it's been, it's rare that you get to hang out with people where they care more about others than they care about themselves. And I know you wouldn't necessarily selfishly be promoting yourself and all that other stuff, but I want to do it for you. If you guys have not been in the presence of Johnny and you want to bring him into your salon, send him an email, bring him into your salon, talk to your salon-centric rep if you're part of the L'Oreal family. If not, email him at johnstellato@gmail.com. Have a conversation with Johnny. Hopefully this gave you some perspective today, and more conversation with Johnny would. Johnny, if you were a little closer to me, I'd hang out with you like every day. I'd be over at your house. I'd have you over for dinner and have my lady make you and your wife some dinner. But dude, I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. If you guys love this time with Johnny, again, do me a favor and say love in the comment section. Johnny, anything you want to say as we wrap up, a final thought you want to leave everybody with, man?
Yeah, well, thank you. Again, Jason, thank you sincerely, bottom of my heart, for this opportunity. Yeah. Thank you for all our viewers and our listeners this past hour. it's amazing how time flies when you're
Right.
just hanging out with friends, you know.
Yeah.
And a shout out to Sherry Doss and to Carolyn and everybody
Sherry!
right in. Yeah, I mean, you know, they're giving me the platform, and to Leslie, they're giving me the platform to be a messenger here. And the message needs to be heard, you know. We got to take care of our people. And that's the whole part of living best as well. You know, we have amazing artists who take care of the hair, and we have amazing people who take care of the heart as well. And I'm just so proud of being part of that group of people. Yeah. And everybody out there, we love you. Don't ever, ever, ever give up on yourself. You're freaking amazing. Love you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Johnny, for being on. You guys, do me a favor. If you love this interview, would you hit the share button so more people can see it? I would love to make sure that more people get exposure to Johnny. That's part of why we do this show, Lessons with Legends, is to help more people meet some of the cool people that I've encountered in my day that really help change and set the standard for what I would love the salon industry to be in the future. Thank you guys for tuning in. Johnny, as always, brother, thanks for hanging out, and thanks for being here, brother.
Take care, Jason. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody.